Samuel stirs in his sleep. He's dreaming, having a nightmare of sorts. What exactly is this particular nightmare about? Let's see. That's going to be a 3 and a 6. A garden and the locket. He's thinking about happier times. A while ago, when Antonia still lived. He remembers a time when he snuck into a garden that he was not supposed to, obviously, along with Antonia. They had just recently plundered a house of sorts, and Samuel, having found the locket, pressed it into Antonia's hand. Take it, it's yours. You earned it. Good work today. Samuel tries to keep his stoic nature in check. She stares into his eyes and says, there's gonna be a 20. She says, wake up, Samuel. Samuel blurrily opens his eyes to find Gaius aiming a musket right at him. Samuel immediately clambers back, reaching for his saber by instinct. Don't even think about it, says Gaius. What I just rolled was whether Gaius was aware of where Samuel was. I got a 20. I'm going to take that to mean that I was actually going to roll for whether he knew about what happened, but a 20? I don't think I have to do an additional roll in that case. Don't think about it, Gaius repeats, as Samuel withdraws his hand from his waist and puts his arms up in kind of a guarded fashion. Gaius, why are you aiming your gun at me? Do you think I'm a fool, Samuel? Says Gaius. They sit there in silence for a little bit. I want to know that now that Gaius knows what happened, what is his reaction towards Samuel? And the way we're gonna do that is by using the degree option here. And we're gonna add a +2 to it. The higher it gets, the more hostile they are. So we're gonna roll a d8 and we're gonna see how does Gaius take to Samuel now. That is going to be a 6, plus a 2 is gonna be an 8. That's going to be extraordinarily hostile. Gaius throws some rope in front of Samuel. Tie yourself up. I'm taking you in. We never should have let you go free. Samuel looks down at the rope, looks up at Gaius. Gaius, the plague doctor. You have to listen to me. Gaius, they've brought about a beast, a creature of some kind. It's headed towards a nearby village. You killed an innocent guard, and from what I hear, you taunted him about his dead son before you did so. I know you've killed a guard before, but I thought, well, I guess I'm just a fool. But I thought perhaps you didn't have a choice. Perhaps circumstances forced you into that. Samuel goes, circumstances forced me into this, Gaius. You have to listen to me. Look, the creature is going to ravage a village at any time now. We don't have time to lose. You have to help me. Please, Gaius, please. Gaius looks over at Samuel. This isn't how he remembers Samuel, stoic, unfeeling. Does Gaius relent? I'm gonna say that's unlikely. I'm gonna roll 2d20 here. Pick the lower one. 15 and a 17. Gaius does relent, but he keeps his musket aimed at Samuel. A creature, you say? What kind? Some kind of abomination, says Samuel. I have no idea. I know it's headed towards a nearby village, but I wasn't able to get enough information on anything else. I wasn't able to get evidence on the plague doctor or Lord Vlade, and as he recounts the events in his memory, he gets to the point where he killed the guard, and he stares off blankly into the distance for a bit. And what? Says Gaius. Samuel's lower lip quivers a little bit as he kind of falls back, slumps over, kind of dejected. You might be right. Maybe I'm not up to the task. Gaius looks Samuel up and down, thinks for a bit. Does he know about any villages in the nearby area? I'm gonna say there's a near sure chance, but are there more than one other than Skafheim? Yeah, I'm gonna roll for that. Are there more than one village nearby other than Skafheim? That's going to be 4. That's going to be a no. I know of one other village nearby. It could be that, or worse yet, it could be Hillgrip. Samuel hesitates for a bit, looks up and goes, Do you know if this village has any rivalries with Skafheim in any capacity? Well, does he know? I'm gonna say that's likely. He does know the surrounding area pretty well. That's going to be a 14. That's gonna be yes. So does the village have any rivalries with Skafheim? That's going to be a 16. That's going to be a yes. I'm gonna say they're competing in terms of resources of some kind. Yeah, ever since the plague came to Skafheim, this village... Well, what kind of a rivalry is it? Is it like a personal vendetta that Lord Vlander has, for example, against one of the politicians there? I'm gonna say that's 50-50 chance actually. Let's see. That's going to be a 10. That's going to be a random event. That might clue us in on what is happening actually. So let's actually roll for that random event. That's going to be a D8. Let's see here. Random event focus is going to be a 2. That's going to be a new plot. Okay. New plot. I think I'm just going to roll on the plot twist here. I'm gonna roll a D8 again. Let's see here. It's going to be a 6. A new danger appears. I think the new danger is going to be that they don't know if it's headed towards Hillgrab or this new village. And the reason for that is Lord Vlander has political opponents in both areas. This new village, let's give it a name. Yeah, we'll just come up with a random name from Fallen and maybe add something to that. Arrowsby is pretty good actually. Arrowsby. So the nearby settlement of Arrowsby. The creature could be headed in either direction, says Gaius. At this point, he lowers his musket. You're a fool, Samuel. You're a fool, and you've made some really bad decisions. But at this point, with that power of yours, I think I know what we can do. I think I have a plan. After all of this, I'm taking you back in. Just so you know, you're gonna be locked away for a very long time, or worse. I think they just stand there in silence for a bit. Then Samuel gets up, says, "Alright then." He steels himself again, his stoic nature back. Once this is all over, well, you can try to take me in. We'll have to see about what happens then. They don't shake hands, they don't even nod at each other, they just have now a mutual understanding. Gaius hates Samuel's guts, but he is his only option here to stop what's going to happen, so Gaius tells Samuel his plan. Gaius's plan hinges on whether Captain Kaldvik is back in Skafheim. We know that Captain Kaldvik is not corrupt, per se. It's a long shot, but they can try to convince Captain Kaldvik to help them against maybe not a monster, but some kind of beast in the surrounding region. And I think this will actually convince Lord Vlander to come out of hiding, so to speak. And at this point, hopefully Gaius can get him to a secluded spot, and Samuel, from a safe distance, can read his mind. I think that's gonna be the plan here. Samuel thinks about it a bit. It's a long shot, but I can't really think of anything better. Let's do it. And they leave the cave, once again, not as companions, but as temporary allies. Gaius walks up to the main gates of Skafheim. "Ho there," says the guard up in the tower. "Who goes?" "Gaius, second in command from the militia of Hillgrab. I request to speak to your commander, Captain Kaldvik." Is the captain back yet? I'm gonna say it's likely. It's gonna be a 16, that's gonna be the higher one. "State your business," says the soldier. "We don't take quite kindly to Hillgrab folk around here." Gaius nods. "I understand, but this is a matter of grave importance. More important than any political leanings that we have." The guard ponders a bit. "Alright, come on in." He opens up the main gates there, and he greets Gaius. "You can meet us in the barracks. The rest of the village is plague-ridden. Mind your step not to walk in this shit." They walk in through the barracks, and the guard eventually leads Gaius towards one of the rooms. This is Captain Kaldvik's quarters. He knocks twice on the door. "Sir, there's someone here to see you." "Come in," says a very familiar sounding voice. They come in and find Captain Kaldvik behind the table, his hands kind of in a contemplative gesture. "I know you," says Captain Kaldvik. "That's good," says Gaius. "I wasn't hoping that I'd have to repeat my station so many times." "The hell kind of business does Hillgrab have with us?" says Captain Kaldvik, obviously still bitter about his recent visit to Hillgrab. So Gaius is gonna try to explain the situation. Firstly, I am going to test his diplomacy, which he has not. So I'm actually going to burn his will die here. There we go. And I'm also going to burn his agility die. Actually, wait, no, he might need that. Yeah, we're just gonna burn his will die here. So it's gonna be 3d6. See what happens. Is he able to convince Captain Kaldvik that he isn't just spouting some lies when he talks about this beast, this monstrous beast that is currently a threat to their neighbors? That is going to be a success. That is very good. The reason why that's very good is that if it was a complication, I would have rolled to see if Captain Kaldvik remembers his voice. And I would have rolled that at a 50-50 chance. But actually, I'm still going to roll it, but at a disadvantage. This will be very bad if he gets caught. Does Captain Kaldvik realize his voice from being interrogated by him back in Hillgrab? Disadvantage. I'll pick the lower one, that's going to be a 3. So no, he does not recognize Gaius' voice. And he considers this deeply. Arrowsby. We had dealings with them and with Hillgrab, and you lot aren't our favorites, but lives are in danger, you say. I think this is something that I have to bring up to Lord Flunday. Gaius asks, is there any chance that I could meet him? Whatever for, says Captain Kaldvik. Well, I feel like I will be able to give a better account of the details. Captain Kaldvik comes out from behind the table, looks up and down at Gaius. Well, he did do a very good diplomacy check. I'm gonna give it advantage roll. Let's see, is he able to do it? Is he able to convince him? There's going to be 11, barely. Alright, I'll get you in a meeting with Lord Flunday, but I'm coming along too. So the next question is, where do they actually meet Lord Flunday? I think they'd want to meet within Skafheim, but is it in a position wherein Samuel can easily peek over the fences and be able to do his mind reading thing? I'm gonna say that's unlikely, so we're gonna roll that. And that's gonna be a lower one, so 12 and 15. Yes, he is going to be in a position within Skafheim that Samuel is going to be able to peek over and easily read his mind. So where's this place gonna be? Let's look at the map of Skafheim here. And I think they're gonna want to be a bit discreet, maybe. Actually, let's say that the barracks are right there, and that Lord Vlade and Captain Kaldvik are gonna come down towards here, and Samuel can kind of peek out, get line of sight towards Lord Vlade, and be able to kind of read his mind from there before he meets up with Gaius. So I'm assuming that Samuel is kind of like watching the situation from afar, perhaps on a hill, through his spyglass. And at this point, when they get Lord Vlade out and coming down towards here, he leaps down, he comes closer, he kind of peeks over the fence a little bit. And as Lord Vlade is halfway down around the town square, that's when Samuel goes into action. Samuel is going to peek out, and he is going to use his mind read ability here. He's going to have a 2d6 plus 2 plus another 2. So there's going to be a 2d6, and he's going to see if he can do it. There's going to be a 3, 4, 7 plus 4. That's going to be 11. That's going to be a success. Lord Vlade momentarily stops as Captain Kaldvik kind of walks on a bit, and he kind of gasps out a bit as his mind gets invaded. Sir? Says Captain Kaldvik, a bit concerned. Samuel gets to ask a question here. Again, he only gets to ask one question per each time he does the mind read. This time he didn't get a complication, so he's not going to minus from it. So he's going to ask, firstly, are you in league with the Plague Doctor? That's going to be quite likely. So you roll that, take the higher one. That's going to be a 20, 100%. He's not just in league with the Plague Doctor, he incited this. This is what he wanted, and this was his plan all along. Okay, now that we know that, Samuel is yet again going to try to do the mind read ability as Vlade falls to his knees, is grasping at his head as Captain Kaldvik calls for the Plague Doctor. He's going to get a 2d6 plus 4. That is going to be another success. He's not going to have to use up his mind read again. He asks another question. Where's the beast headed? Is it towards Hillgrab or is it towards Arrowsby? So is it towards Hillgrab? 18. That's going to be a yes. It is definitely headed towards Hillgrab. The Plague Doctor at this point is going to come rushing out, and he's going to see this, and he's going to know what's happening. Scout the area, says the Plague Doctor. What? Why? Says Captain Kaldvik. Just do it, says the Plague Doctor, and he looks around. Does he see Samuel? I think this is going to be highly unlikely, so I'm going to just roll for Samuel's stealth here, but I'm gonna give it an extra die. So let's see here. It's gonna be, yeah, no. There's no way that he sees Samuel. Samuel is hidden. Samuel is going to press his luck here, and he needs evidence of Lord Vlandes and the Plague Doctor's involvement. This time he's gonna target the Plague Doctor. So that's gonna be 2d6 plus 4. 7 plus 4. Again, he succeeds. This is going much better than previously, luckily. So Samuel asks, evidence. Give me some evidence. What evidence have you left behind of this creature? Pretty good question. Let's see what kind of evidence have they left behind of the creature. We're gonna roll on this again. And that's just gonna be a 2d6. So that's gonna be a 36. Garden and locket. The dream he had. So garden and locket. So it's the same thing that he saw in his dream. Oh my god. Does this mean... Oh. So the Plague Doctor did some experiments on the townspeople. And he was looking for the recently deceased infected who were not burned. But it turns out that the burnt ones were still of use to him. One of those being Antonia. Her ashes are mixed in with monster. The way I'm thinking about it is like this. When Antonia got the plague, nobody wanted to touch her. They gave her the ropes, tossed them at her feet, got her to tie herself up, and essentially forced her from a safe distance away. They didn't get rid of her locket. It's quite a special locket. Despite being burned within the flames, some small remnants of it still remained. As it turns out, this foul alchemy that the Plague Doctor was doing required some metallic or gem-like materials. Whatever the case might be, that locket is powering a part of the creature. We don't know yet what this creature is like, but if Samuel is able to kill it, he will find Antonia's locket within that creature. And that is what he can use as evidence. I'm going to say that there was something inscribed on the locket that made it obvious that it was Antonia's, or that the townspeople have seen her with it, that sort of thing. That's the evidence he requires. In order to get this evidence, he must kill that monster and extract that locket from its heart. I think before he goes, Samuel is going to ask one last question here, which is going to be, well, we'll roll to see if he can even do it first. One last question to the Plague Doctor. 5 and a 4, he is gonna be able to do it, no problem. We're getting good rolls today, luckily. Samuel asks, a weakness. Give me a weakness to this creature. Again, we're gonna roll on this and see what kind of weakness do we get. 33. Spire. I'm not getting anything from this, so... Actually, wait a minute. That strangely looks like a crucifix, doesn't it? I think this creature was not just an alchemical creation. I think there was something far more sinister involved. Whatever the case might be, crucifixes will weaken it to a point where it can be killed. Interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna do one final roll here before we end off this session. It's going to be, I think, a likely chance. There's going to be a 20. Samuel retreats back up into the hills where he can oversee Skafheim. And in the distance he can see Hillgrab, high up, perched on a hill with the forest in between. And he takes out his spyglass and he looks through the spyglass. And he can't see much, it's still very far away, he can't see much. But he can see smoke, a fire of sorts, chaos. And he knows the creature has reached Hillgrab. And I think that will be all for today's session. Again, thank you all for watching, and next time we'll see what happens with this creature. This creature who is made up of many bodies, including that of Antonia Bloodsworth, Samuel's lover. So, I'll see you again next time. Goodbye for now.